Hey, honey, can you turn that crap off? Turn that hard rock and roll down, man. This old man's on the TV again. Um, I'd kind of like to, you know, hear what he's got to say, but I can't with all that. Oh my gosh, thank you. Wow. Yeah. Hey, honey, grab a pen and paper. Let's jot down this phone number. I'm fixing to order a crap load of these lures here. They look awesome. Okay, honey, coming. Thank you. Just kidding. Mike Trammell, A-Balt Custom Lures. Man, I've got something to show you. Let's go take a look. Okay, Mike Trammell here. I've been asked to, and I said that I would do this in a previous video. Um, if you interjected anything into it, or if I got comments, which I haven't gotten a lot, but I have gotten one, and it was very important to me. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to answer his request, and he knows who he is. A friend of mine is his name is Aramis. So what he wanted me to do was show with my hands how the lure works and its many functions. In other words, I'm going to take it from one thing and make it into another with my hands, kind of like a hand model. I don't know if he was telling me that he didn't want to see my ugly mug, or if it would just come across better if I did this. And I think it's the latter. So hopefully I'm not too close. Hopefully the setup's good and I won't have to redo this. So we'll just start with showing you how the A-Balt lure functions. Um, we're just going to take some comparisons as well. This is a spinnerbait, an old spinnerbait of mine. You can see it just, this um, swivel is just, and the blade is just really corroded. I don't know if I, almost as if it had been in salt water, but it does that. You know, anything that's caustic in the water that gets on it, if you don't rinse it off with good clean water, there's an eyeball missing, a little bit of rust on the hook. But this is what happens to all spinnerbaits, really. But I'll show you some big differences. Even though this looks very similar to mine, I think that's a pretty good compliment for me to design a lure like this and to go to all this trouble and it still turn out looking like a spinnerbait. Uh, yeah, that's a pro. So anyway, this is my spinnerbait. Okay, and where it differs, um, as I've said before, everything's locked in this lead. Your wire runs into the cavity of the mold, and so does your hook. You pour hot lead into a sprue, goes down the gate into the opening, congeals extremely fast. You open it up, and you've got a lead head spinnerbait with a wire form. Of course, you got to bend it here, and you got to do whatever you're going to do here. Typically, it's an open eye R bend. You can see why it looks like and is called an R. Hopefully, there's R. So yeah, that's pretty typical, and that's pretty standard. That's 99.9% of the spinnerbaits out there configured like this right here. So mine is too, and I did mine like that for ease of building, because all this is hand done. When I said in the other video, this takes time. Man, imagine if I had 100 of these wires that I had to put this resin on just so it would streamline through the water. It takes time to, that's 100 of them that I've got to do. You know, that's 500 that I've got to do. That's 500 bends that I got to put right here. That's 500 bends that I've got to put here. That's 500 connections that I got to make up here. On top of, we'll just take that wireframe off, uh, making this guy right here. which is the connecting link. Yeah, see how this one's got it's got a radius on each side of these wires. This being the opening to slide on your hook. It goes down, it makes a radius, almost makes a complete circle. But you can see, I'll just simulate putting a hook on there. Get down here in the white. See how you slide that on? Imagine that being a hook. And we'll do that here in a minute. I'm not going to leave anything unshown. So anyway, that's one particular connecting link. Try to do this as fast as I can. I know y'all probably don't like long videos. It seems like the shorter they are, the better you like them. And here it is in play. Okay. And that's a swim bait, and that's a heck of a swim bait all by itself. But if you want to add a head and if you want to add a skirt, man, that's the whole beauty of this thing. It's not just a swim bait now, and now it's a spinnerbait. Slide the head on. I don't know if you can see that opening back there. That's square. These are radiused, of course, because it's wire, right? So what do you get? You get a round peg and a square hole, and it must rattle. That was my idea for it, was to be a built-in rattle. See how loose that is? And the looser it fits up against the skirt and all that stuff. You know, you can trim your skirt down and make it fit even looser. And just put it in the eye there. Sorry. And put it back together. Pinch that. Slide that sleeve down. You got yourself a spinnerbait. Take it off. Put the connecting link on. And you've got a swim bait. Actually, a swim jig with a skirt. Swim bait without the skirt. So imagine this rubber body being this. That would be a, which I just showed you, swim bait. All weedless. Because you're hooking it Texas rig. Okay. That's a cool, so there's a spinnerbait. That would be a cool pitching bait, man. You got your crawl on it. This time of year, black and blue. You got your head. Watch this. Take this connecting link off. Or I'm sorry, line to lure connector. Slide on another head. Woo, when things are slippery. Slide on another head. Use a shorter wire. If you notice, this wire is configured differently. It don't have the radius bends like this one. So you can get right up to that hook eye. Okay. So we're going to slide it right up to the hook eye. And look at that. Now you've got a smaller bait. It's got that head on it that goes through everything. I mean, all my heads are tapered, so they'll go through the stuff. You know, it must. There's no sharp surfaces on it. Okay, shorten that up by using a smaller connecting link. I think I showed you that in another video. You got you a pretty nice little downsize offering right there for flipping, or just using it, you know, on the bottom next to cover, next to a big old log, whatever. You want to add some bulk to it? Select a skirt. Slide that guy on there. You want more head? If you want bigger head with more weight, use the bigger head. There's a 1/4 ounce. Look at that bad boy. Now we just bulked it up. Right? You want a smaller head, smaller weights, slower fall? You just did it right there. People, that's how fast it is. Okay? So that's a spinnerbait, swim jig, creature bait, jig and pig. There again, weedless spinnerbait. and all this. So there's 1, 2, 3. How about a worm? Y'all talking about giant worms? Huh? That here's one with a oh, I can't. That's a motor oil. I think I made a motor oil and put a little sparkle on the inside, so it's shining from the inside out, kind of like the worm is. Look at that giant worm. Same thing. If you want to cover this up, go to this size. It will allow you to put this skirt collar on, and then you end up with this. A massive, look at that curly tail. I showed this in another video. Or you can get smaller, you know. I put a big hook to allow you to do it. This is the only thing that needs to wiggle back and forth in the water is the curly tail. I just use this to keep my hook weedless. You know, you can do that as well. Any head, any color. I mean, there's a giant worm. So there's 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. Watch this. This will really help you understand how cool it would be to have just a couple colors. Watch this. We could put a chartreuse head on this worm. Slippery suckers. When you touch that and then that's slippery. Let's do black, and let's take this purple head off of here. Put blue. Why? Because there's blue inside this skirt. Why not? It's not. It ain't like it's not going to match. It's the point here is your preference. You know, the sky's the limit. You take chartreuse blue and white, or that lime. I had a chartreuse head on there. What's wrong with that? Ho! I'd do that. You bet I would. We just made, I hadn't played with that combo. I'm digging that. Get this guy out of here. I like that. You bet. You don't have to have that paddle tail. You can do a curly tail. You want to see it? Let's just do it. All right, let's get this in the shot here. Move these guys out of the way. Okay, pull that skirt off of there. In fact, let's get real crazy. Let's see, let's get this connecting link, so you know it's going to receive a skirt. Put that on. Black and blue. It's cold. Water temperature is cold. Let's go with this black and blue skirt. Let's make a 1/4 ounce jig and pig. Now that's 1/4 ounce with that 1/4 ounce to 5/16 with that tungsten in there. You can see that tungsten. But the plastic weighs something too, so don't think it's super light. You know, look at that. Put this on here. Yeah, that might be a blockbuster. Or if you wanted to downsize the head, since there's not, you know, let's say you wanted to slow down your retrieve instead of willow leaf, you want to really slow it down. Put this smaller head on, smaller tungsten. Put that silver blade or black blade. Oh, son. It's already got some blue on it. I'd eat that. Yeah. Yep. So anyway, there's worms, jigs, swim bait, swim jig, swimming worm. Yeah. And all without tying a knot, man. See, even this right here, this is tied onto your braid or your main line. You just slide this on here on the eye. Make sure that's pushed over. See how it closes up that opening right there. And it'll really close up when you slide this on. This comes down your line. This plastic barrel sleeve. You just covered all of the crucial parts up, and there's your main line going out. And you say, well, yeah, I still don't get it though. How's that, let you change it quick? Well, watch this. Let's say it's on your line, and I want to go from a spinnerbait to a swim jig or jig. In this case, this is a heck of a combination for a jig. So there's my jig, already weedless. Do away with the spinnerbait combination there, your wireframe spinnerbait combination. Get that blade off of there, put that back on your main line, and you just did it. You just went from a spinnerbait to something you can fish on the bottom now, right alongside cover, this weedless. Yeah. Boy, that'd go good with that too right there. I think we've already done that. That right there would be awesome. Hey, it's not that big. I mean, a lot of guys put this trailer on, slide it on their jig and get it up to here, and then all this is hanging off the back. Man, if you want to downsize, I use this for the weedless, okay, and hanging out of the back of the skirt or them legs. You just downsized it, but you still got your creature bait crawling on the bottom in black and blue. So anyway, hopefully that won't be too long a video. Now you can imagine, I won't do this because I'm not that way, but I hope everybody knows what a catastrophic failure is, okay? This is where they fail. They fail right here when you're straightening them out, bending them back. Imagine if I cut that off and I told you, well, won't you just replace the blade on that and keep fishing? Could you? No. What if I clipped it right here and I told you to replace that titanium wire? Could you? From being stretched out like this. I'm just stretching it with my hand. That's what happens. That's why these bend and break here and here. That's a cycle. Every time I do that with the line, 2, 3, how many cycles do you get? Okay. Because they haven't closed that up with any kind of security like I have mine. There's my security blanket right there. There's my welding joint right there. This right here is my welding joint, believe it or not. That applies the weld to this opening right here. Now, how can that open? As long as that stays affixed right here, how can that open? It cannot. I close all circles. That circle's closed. This circle's closed. The joint's in here. I would have to blow that head apart. Okay. And this right here, this little trick keeps that eye from opening. And what do you get? You get a straight line pull. See what's trying to bend? See that hook? The hook is trying to open up. Nothing else. That's awesome. You know it is. Y'all need to start buying this thing, man. I haven't been getting no love. I told you I'd make videos as long as everybody was interested. He's the only one that Aramis, say he, I apologize. He's the only one that truly came through on the comments, and he's getting what he wants right here. I said I would, and I did it, and that's for me. Mi hermanito. So there it is. You wanted to see a hand model, so that's the best that I can do. Okay. Hopefully you learned something more about my lure and just how versatile it is. Call me, man. I've got my number out there. I'm putting it on the line. I want to make and sell lures. I don't want to have my face plastered anywhere. That ain't what it's all about, man. It's about this right here and you guys. Need to get you some of this. Pass it around. Like, share, comment. You see what happens when you comment. Thank you, Aramis, for your comment. I hope that does it for you. All you guys out there that are watching, there's plenty of them that are doing it and viewing it and giving it some thumbs up. But man, we need to subscribe and we need to share. We need to share this. Let's get some lures made. Get them suckers in the water. Just because the water temperature is getting cold, this is viable. This is viable. You may not think this is, but it still is right now if you fish it slow. And that's for sure viable. Absolutely. So there's 3, 4 out of the same heads. Right there. Cool. All right. I will see you on the next cast.